Hey guys, Shane here, Daniel again. Seems
What's up,
like
guys?
seems like just 30 seconds ago.
30
Since
seconds
the last
ago.
time we were here. No, but today, guys, we're gonna talk as baseball fans, and a lot of the statistics that get talked about today, um, we have problems with.
We have big problems with statistics, and we talked about it a little bit in our last video about some statistics that get looked at. On base percentage maybe a little bit undervalued as a good statistic. And, today we're going to be talking about more pitching statistics.
Just about all pitching statistics.
Actually, yeah, all of them, actually.
Because I think that's where most of the problems lie.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see these people really fast. This is my personal beef with these wins. And my big thing, I was talking to Shane beforehand.
Damn wins.
10-5 with a 2.31 ERA. Adam Wainwright for the St. Louis Cardinals. His teammate Lance Lynn 10-1 with a 4.4, I believe, right around their ERA.
Yeah.
Now you look at those seasons, you say, "Wow, Lance Lynn's having a better season from the win category, obviously." But you look at Adam Wainwright, and he's getting some really tough losses. So
yeah.
I don't necessarily see the win as being as important as people think it is. It's a great placeholder.
Yeah.
But that's about all I'm going to say about it because that could be an hour-long talk.
But some of the stats we'd like to see, there does need to be reform. We want to see some stats added and dropped. For me, the big one that I want to drop would be both holds and saves. So just so you know, if you're a relief pitcher, you come into a game and it's 10-1, you pitch one inning and give up 5 runs. That's like a 45 ERA. Your team's still up 10-6. You held the lead. No, that's a horrible outing. You did awful. You suck. Sit down in the bullpen and cry.
Very strong words from Shane Tate.
It's stupid.
Very true, though. It's very true.
A hold should only be a hold if you allow 0 runs or allow 1 run tops. Because other than that, you didn't do very well.
Very true.
And same thing with saves. I think saves put a lot of pressure on managers and even specific pitchers. I saw a discussion on this, and they had it completely right. The fact of the matter is, if your closer, say you're up on a game 3-2, right? And bottom of the 8th inning, you're the away team, and they've got their 3, 4, 5 hitters, and yet you're not going to bring in the guy that you've designated as your best pitcher on your relief because you want to get him a save the next inning. No, that's stupid. You should bring in your best pitcher then, and then say, okay, 6, 7, 8, let's bring in our second best guy. And because it just puts so much unnecessary pressure to get the saves, to get that saves record, when really you're losing games earlier because you're not bringing in your best pitcher for your best situations.
And you brought up a great point right there. I think one of your last points, Shane, was games aren't necessarily won and lost in the 9th inning.
No.
They're won and lost in difficult situations, for the most part, earlier in the game, in the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings. And people look at that 9th inning, the sacred 9th inning for closers, in general. But you see these not-so-great relievers get in trouble in the 6th and 7th, and they lose the game then. And, your closer doesn't even get a chance because of that. Or, obviously there's a lot of things that can happen. But it's something that was brought up, and that's good. But the thing is with the closer and the save, it's just one of those things. It's not going to go away because it's exciting. Mariano Rivera with the new saves record. You saw Trevor Hoffman. You see these guys. But at the same time, your best pitcher should be used at the best time in the game.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you with saves. Saves aren't necessarily outdated. It's a good placeholder stat because it shows us progress of some people, but at the same time, it does have to go.
I don't even think it's that, though. It's not a good placeholder because, like I said, you're screwing up games because you're bringing in, 7th inning, you're facing the top 3 hitters, and yet you're going to bring in some average relief pitcher because, it's not time for my setup guy yet. It's not time for my closer.
Yep.
Bullpen pitchers should not have specific roles. It's ridiculous to assign them specific roles because, you need your best. Their role should be, this is my best guy, this is my second best guy. And another, going away from, staying with bullpen, a stat that should be talked about more, I think it is a stat already, but it's inherited runners scored. Because you see that a lot, and it's not talked about as much. If you bring in a relief pitcher, and say your starting pitcher goes 7 innings, it's in the 8th inning now, he gives up 2 singles, you got runners on first and second, and it's a 1-run game. If your relief pitcher comes in and gets 3 outs without those guys scoring, that's huge. That's way more important to me than a guy facing the 7, 8, 9 hitters and getting a save because That's saying, okay, I got a guy who's got he's determined and he's not afraid to come in any situation. Last night with the Dodgers, they were facing the Giants. They had I believe, a 4-run lead. Might have even been 6 runs. I don't know. Regardless, Brandon Lee comes in, gives up hit after hit, as he likes to do. And then they bring in Paco Rodriguez. Paco Rodriguez gives up one of the runs, and it was a 1-run game, but then he got 3 straight outs, including a great catch by Matt Kemp. But the fact of the matter is he got the job done. There was runners on first and second with no outs after he'd already given up one of the runs, and he got the job done. People need to talk about that more.
And another example was the Rays and Yankees probably a couple of days ago. Bases loaded, a lefty reliever, a no-name basically for the Rays. Good job with inherited runners. He strikes out 2. It was 1 out, bases loaded. He strikes out both batters. He's out of that inning. He doesn't necessarily get the praise because it's not the 9th inning. And, you need to understand that it's more than just the 9th inning.
Yeah.
And inherited runners, it is a statistic, but it's not talked about because it's not glamorous. It's not that pretty statistic.
And real quick, we're going to talk about starting pitching. A stat that we'd like to see dropped is quality starts. In case you don't know, that's six innings pitched, 3 earned runs or less. For those of you who aren't great at math, that's a 4 If you do that your entire season, every start you go out there is a quality start, you have a 4.5 ERA. That's not good. That's not going to win you many games.
Yeah.
And one that we'd like to see added is run support. They need to talk more about what a pitcher's run support is. And I know that's not a factor he controls. I know that's it's not like a stat that I'm saying is going to separate guys. But that should go a long way to help explain why some pitchers don't have the win-loss record.
Yeah, it's a tough luck, a tough luck stat actually. And
you look at King Felix Hernandez up in Seattle when his Cy Young year. I guess they did look at it because he was 13-12 and he won the Cy Young.
Best ERA, by the way.
Yeah,
it was big thing.
So the thing is, you look at a guy. If you're only looking at win-loss records, you're saying, how the hell does a guy out of Seattle with a 13-12 record win it? It's because he's a great pitcher. Just because the offense behind him isn't doing a lot. And I know Clayton Kershaw this year has one of the worst run supports. I remember Hiroki Kuroda when he was with the Dodgers, same problem. He had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning, and it was a 0-0 game. And that's not his fault. If he ends up losing that game or he doesn't get a win out of that game, you can't put that on him.
Yeah, and really fast before we wrap up, if you guys are fans of MLB Network and the show MLB Now, Brian Kenny talks about the quality starter or pitchers that really should get a win that didn't. On the average day, 5 to 9 pitchers out of the 30 teams pitch well enough to earn a win, but do not. So it's one of those things in general, run support, wins, these things should be added or subtracted from the game.
Should be looked at least at the end of the year when awards time comes around.
Exactly. And awards at the same time are kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, it's a good, exciting thing for fans in general for the game, and you want to see people rewarded.
It's good in contract talks.
That is a very good point. Anyways, guys, we're going to be done here. My name is Daniel. To my left is Shane. We'll be back, in a couple days probably, talking more baseball. Enjoy your day and your week, and see you guys later.
Keep going.